The Atlanta airport is the kind of place where nobody really looks at anyone. Thousands of faces pass through the same corridors every hour, dragging suitcases, staring at screens, chasing gates, chasing time. Everyone is in motion, and that constant motion creates a strange invisibility. If you blend into the background, you can disappear in plain sight. That is exactly how a 12-year-old boy named Eli Parker survived. Most people who walked by him assumed he was just another kid from a struggling family, maybe waiting for a delayed flight, maybe lost, maybe causing trouble. Security saw him as a problem. Business travelers saw him as an inconvenience. Even the stores saw him as a liability. But Eli wasn't waiting for a flight. He was living there. He slept behind a row of vending machines in a service hallway that stayed warm at night. He washed his face in bathroom sinks and used paper towels to dry his hair. He learned which custodians were kind enough to slip him leftover sandwiches from break rooms and which ones would call security just for seeing him. And he carried one small plastic container with him everywhere. Not candy, not gum, earbuds. Cheap earbuds that he bought in bulk from a discount wholesaler near the perimeter of the city, the kind that came in plain packaging and broke easily. He sold them to travelers who had forgotten theirs or lost them in the chaos of TSA. $2, he'd say, brand new. Most people ignored him, but Eli didn't mind being ignored. Ignored meant safe. Ignored meant nobody asked where his parents were. Ignored meant no one noticed the bruises from the life he'd already lived. What people didn't know was that Eli was building something inside his head, quietly, piece by piece. While other kids his age were in school, Eli was in the international terminal listening. He listened to German tourists arguing about train schedules. He listened to Mandarin-speaking families negotiating which luggage to check. He listened to Russian businessmen whispering into phones. He listened to Arabic speakers discussing layovers, deals, and family emergencies. At first, the words were only sound, music without meaning. Then Eli started collecting scraps, a torn phrase book left on a seat, a travel magazine in Spanish, a children's book abandoned near a charging station, printed boarding passes with airport announcements in multiple languages, anything with words. He would sit near a wall outlet, pretend to charge a dead phone, and study. When he got stuck, he would ask people questions, but not the way you'd expect. He didn't say, "Teach me Arabic." He'd say, "How do you pronounce that?" Or, "What does that sign mean?" And sometimes, when the right person saw the seriousness in his eyes, they would answer. A Lebanese rideshare driver who waited at the airport for hours explained basic Arabic greetings. A Syrian refugee family, stranded for months waiting on paperwork, corrected his pronunciation and laughed when he got it right. A retired college professor from Chicago, stuck overnight due to a storm, taught him how to remember verb conjugations. Eli didn't learn languages like a hobby. He learned them like a lifeline. Because language meant leverage. Language meant power. And in a place like an airport, power is the difference between being thrown out and being invited in. On a humid Tuesday in late summer, the kind of day where the air conditioning feels like a battlefield against the heat, the international concourse at ATL was packed. Eli was near a coffee shop, offering earbuds in his quiet, practiced voice, when he noticed a group that didn't blend in at all. 3 men in tailored suits, expensive watches, polished shoes, the kind of men who moved like they owned the floor beneath them. In the center was a tall, broad-shouldered man in his early 50s, gray at the temples, jaw clenched in a way that suggested he spent most of his life getting his way. His name was Grant Maddox. If you followed business news, you'd recognize him as the CEO of Maddox Aero Logistics, a private aviation and charter company that had grown aggressively over the past decade. His face showed up at ribbon cuttings, investor events, and charity galas, and today he was on the verge of losing something big. Eli walked closer, holding up the container. "Earbuds, sir," he said. $2. Grant looked at him like he was looking at a stain. "Get lost," Grant snapped. "I'm busy." One of the other men, wearing dark sunglasses indoors like he was performing for an invisible camera, smirked. "Doesn't this place have security?" he said. "These kids are everywhere." Eli took a half step back. He'd heard it all before, but as he turned away, he caught a piece of Grant's conversation. Grant had his phone pressed to his ear, voice tight. What do you mean the interpreter isn't coming? Grant hissed. We have a meeting in an hour. An hour. This isn't optional. He paused, listening. Then his voice got sharper. No, I don't care what happened. I need a certified Arabic interpreter. This group is investing $200 million. If we blow this, someone else takes the deal. The men around him stopped smiling. When Grant hung up, his hands were trembling with anger. This is a disaster, one partner said. If we can't communicate, it's over. Grant's eyes scanned the terminal like he was searching for oxygen. Then he raised his voice. Is there anyone here who speaks Arabic? His voice cut through the noise. Travelers looked up, then looked away. A few people pretended not to hear. Some stared like it was entertainment. Grant tried again, louder. Anyone? I need an Arabic speaker right now. Silence. Eli felt something shift inside him. This was the moment he'd been preparing for without realizing it. He stepped forward, barefoot in worn flip-flops, shirt too big, hair still damp from a bathroom sink wash. I can help, he said. The three suited men turned as one. Grant stared at him, then laughed, a harsh disbelief laugh. You? Grant said. You sell junk earbuds and you speak Arabic? The partners burst into laughter. One of them bent slightly as if Eli was a joke that required physical effort. Kid, Grant said, this is serious. Go bother someone else. Across the corridor, a woman pushing a cleaning cart had been watching. Her name tag read, Denise. Denise wasn't young, and her uniform was faded, but she carried herself like someone who had seen enough of the world to recognize a moment when it mattered. She stepped closer. You're laughing because you only see his clothes, Denise said, voice calm but sharp. I see a kid who's trying. Talent doesn't wear a suit. Grant didn't even look at her. Eli did. He gave her a small nod, then turned back to Grant. And he spoke. Not in English, in Arabic. Perfect, steady, clear Arabic, with a rhythm that made heads turn. He said politely that maybe Grant should listen before judging. He said he could translate. He said he spoke Arabic, Spanish, Russian, and Mandarin too if needed. Then he added one more line, in Arabic, measured and confident. $1,000, he said, after the meeting. The laughter died instantly. The partners looked at each other, confused. Grant's face tightened. Are you kidding? Grant said. Eli didn't blink. Test me, he said. If I'm not fluent, I walk away and you never see me again. If I am, you pay me and you treat me with respect. Grant folded his arms. He hated being cornered, but he hated losing deals more. Fine, he said. Let's see what you've got. 15 minutes later, the investors arrived. 4 men, all composed, calm, and surrounded by an invisible gravity that made people step aside without being asked. The leader introduced himself through a security liaison. His name was Sheikh Khalid Al-Faruqi, a major figure in Middle Eastern aviation leasing. Grant moved toward him, hand extended, smile forced. Mr. Al-Faruqi, welcome, Grant said. We're honored. Our interpreter had an emergency, but we found a replacement. Khalid's eyes dropped to Eli, a boy in flip-flops. Khalid spoke first, rapidly in Arabic, using technical vocabulary about fleet utilization, leaseback structures, and regulatory compliance. It was the kind of Arabic that exposed pretenders immediately. Eli answered without hesitation, not only translating but matching Khalid's tone. Respectful, precise. He clarified a term. He adjusted a phrase so the meaning landed cleanly. Khalid's expression changed. He tested again, switching suddenly into Russian, then Mandarin, as if trying to find the edge of Eli's ability. Eli kept up, flawlessly. The surrounding terminal seemed to quiet as strangers sensed something unusual happening. Khalid finally smiled. Where did you find him? He asked Grant in Arabic. Grant swallowed. He found us, Grant admitted. Khalid nodded once. Pay him, he said, immediately. Eli raised a hand. In respect, Eli said in Arabic. I accept payment after the work. Let me earn it first. Khalid laughed, delighted. Ethics, he said. Humility. Rare qualities. They moved into a VIP conference room. Eli sat between Grant and Khalid, translating every sentence. But something became clear within the first 20 minutes. Eli wasn't just translating words, he was translating meaning. When Khalid spoke in careful business language, Eli reflected the intent. When Grant used vague corporate phrases, Eli sharpened them so they didn't sound evasive. He bridged cultures without anyone teaching him how. Halfway through the meeting, Khalid mentioned a name. Rebecca Lane, he said. Grant stiffened. Khalid continued, still calm. She worked with you years ago, he said. Your interpreter. She helped me in a crisis once. My daughter had a medical emergency during a visit to Miami. Rebecca translated at the hospital, stayed with my family until I arrived. I never forgot her. Khalid leaned forward. Where is she now? Eli's throat tightened. He answered quietly. She died, Eli said. Grant's head snapped toward him. Khalid looked confused. How do you know? Khalid asked. Eli took a slow breath. Because she was my mother, he said. The room froze. The air felt heavier, like the building itself was holding its breath. Grant's face went pale. Eli's voice stayed steady, but his eyes shone. My mother's name was Rebecca Lane, Eli said. She worked for you, Mr. Maddox. 3 years. Grant opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Eli reached into his backpack and pulled out a folded document inside a cheap plastic sleeve. A birth certificate. He slid it across the table. Father's name, Grant Maddox. Grant stared at it as if it was a weapon. I didn't know, Grant whispered. Eli's jaw tightened. She tried to tell you, Eli said. She called. You blocked her number. When she came to your office, security told her she wasn't allowed in. When she finally got through, you said it wasn't your problem. Khalid's expression hardened. Is this true? He asked Grant. Grant's hands shook. I was different, he said. I was arrogant. I don't remember it like that. Eli's voice rose just slightly. She got sick, he said. She couldn't get translation work without references. She cleaned offices at night. She cleaned bathrooms. She died 2 years ago. He swallowed. But she told me every night that I was worth something, that I had a gift, that I should learn even if nobody cared. Khalid stood up. He placed a hand on Eli's shoulder. You are like her, Khalid said. Honorable. Grant's eyes filled. I'm sorry, he said. I have no excuse. Eli wiped his eyes quickly, refusing to fall apart in front of them. I didn't come here for an apology, he said. I came to work. Finish the meeting. And he did. For the next 3 hours, Eli translated with a precision that stunned everyone in the room. When a clause in the draft contract placed unexpected liability on Grant's company, Eli caught it. He didn't just translate it, he flagged it, explained it, and asked Khalid to confirm the intended meaning. When Grant's attorney missed a number in a projected revenue table, Eli pointed it out and recalculated it out loud. And when discussion turned to route strategy, Eli suggested a better hub alignment that would improve profitability. Grant's partners kept glancing at him like they were watching a glitch in reality. How was a kid who slept in an airport doing what their consultants couldn't? At the end, Khalid stood. He looked at Grant. You are lucky, he said. This boy saved your deal. Then he delivered the condition. I will invest, Khalid said, only if you publicly acknowledge him as your son, legally and financially. You will provide housing, education, and a future, not as charity, as responsibility. Grant looked at Eli, his voice cracked. Would you accept? He asked. Eli didn't smile. I want 3 things, he said. First, my $1,000. I earned it. Second, I want it documented that I participated in this negotiation. Third, I want the full truth about what happened to my mother. No more pretending. Grant nodded, tears falling now. You'll have all of it, he said. Khalid added one more offer. Eli, he said, I will fund your education abroad. Dubai, London, wherever you want. Full scholarship, housing, training. You could work with my firm one day. Eli looked at him with respect. Thank you, he said. But I don't want a golden cage. I want my father to earn a chance to be different. If he can prove it with actions, not words, then we build something. Khalid laughed softly. Wise, he said. Very wise. The deal closed, $200 million. Grant paid Eli in cash, right there, no hesitation. And for the first time in his life, Eli walked through the terminal not as a shadow, but as someone seen. But airports don't keep secrets for long. Within an hour, the story leaked. A photo of Grant Maddox with a kid in flip-flops started circulating online. People speculated, reporters called, employees whispered. Then Grant's wife arrived. Her name was Meredith. She came with 2 attorneys and 2 teenage boys, Grant's sons from his marriage, Mason and Cole. Meredith's face was tight with fury. Grant, she said, loud enough for people outside the VIP area to hear, what is this I'm seeing online? You have a child, a secret child. Grant stood, shoulders heavy. I can explain, he began. Meredith cut him off. Explain? She said. You humiliate me, and you bring this kid into our lives like it's nothing? Eli stayed quiet. He had learned long ago that some storms aren't stopped by speaking. Khalid stood, calm as stone. Ma'am, he said, with respect, this boy saved your husband's company today. And if he is his son, then this is not a scandal. It is a responsibility delayed. Meredith tried to speak again, but Mason interrupted. Mom, Mason said. Wait, let him talk. Cole nodded. I want to hear it too, he said. Eli told them about his mother, about living inside the airport, about learning languages from strangers, about selling earbuds to survive. When he finished, Mason stepped forward and held out his hand. If Dad messed up, Mason said, then he has to fix it. That's on him, not on you. Cole hugged Eli, awkward and sincere. You're our brother, he said, if you want to be. Meredith looked shaken, anger colliding with reality. She turned and walked away, promising lawyers and consequences. But Grant stayed. He ordered a DNA test immediately. It confirmed what Eli already knew. Then, in a box of Rebecca Lane's belongings that had been stored after her death, Grant found a letter. He read it aloud to Eli. It said, Grant, if you're reading this, I'm leaving, and that's okay. I loved you. And we have an incredible son. His name is Eli. He has your intelligence and my stubborn strength. Don't let him grow up hating you. Be the man I once believed you could be. Not for my forgiveness, for the love you owe him. Grant broke down. Not the polished tears of public relations. The ugly sobs of a man realizing the real cost of his choices. Before leaving the airport that night, Eli went looking for Denise. He found her near the same corridor, wiping down a railing. He handed her the $1,000. Denise tried to refuse. Eli insisted. You saw me, he said, when other people didn't. Denise's eyes filled. I didn't do anything special, she whispered. You did, Eli said. You reminded them I was human. 3 months later, Eli's life looked unrecognizable. He had a room, a bed, a school uniform that actually fit. He had tutoring, therapy, a legal process that made his name official. But the biggest change wasn't the house or the money. It was that he stopped living like he had to apologize for existing. Mason and Cole became real brothers, defending him at school when rumors spread and asking him questions about languages like he was a superhero. Grant started showing up, not with grand gestures, but with consistency. Parent-teacher meetings, dinner, awkward conversations, honest answers. He couldn't undo the past, but he could stop running from it. And when a counselor asked Eli how he did it, how he survived a world that treated him like he was nothing, Eli gave the only answer that mattered. I didn't win because I was stronger, he said. I won because I never let anyone else define my value. In the busiest airport in America, where most people are just passing through, one invisible kid proved that talent can come from anywhere, and that the truth, no matter how late it arrives, has a way of changing everything.